guys, this is not going to be a pleasant experience. So I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as I can. And that's my review for Rebel Moon 2, The Scargiver. So I actually sat down and watched Rebel Moon Part 2 yesterday, and I was reluctant, was the politest way of saying it. But because I heard the bad reviews and the bad buzz, and I was like, I didn't really enjoy the first film, but I'll give it a shot. And I did. And my glaring observations right up off the bat, guys, is that why is this all about farming wheat, and then to have that storyline jettisoned towards the end for the sake of vengeance? And it's muddled and riddled with a whole bunch of exposition and backstory told in flashbacks. The pacing of this film is all over the place. The characters are not exciting. It's a brutal film to endure. The acting, I'll give this. They are trying. Like, you can tell that the actors are somewhat competent in what they were doing, but it's the execution of the story, and I put that all on Zack Snyder, because I posted like a quick little story on the Instagram. I was like, we're 40 minutes into this, and they're still farming wheat. uh, that's supposed to be like a big crucial plot point, but it really doesn't mean anything in the end. It's because the bad guy comes in and says, "Oh, we got to protect the wheat, the grain," and then 2 minutes later he's like, "Nah, forget the grain. Let's kill them all." It's like, what? What? Oh my God, Jesus. Okay, so I endured it. I can say that I honestly watched it. Jaimin Hansu as Titus was good. I think he was probably the standout, but even he, like, he had some of the clunkiest dialogue, and you could tell that he's trying to give his best, but it was just like the setting for it just was not handled well at all. So you hear the reports that uh, this is a terrible, embarrassing um, movie, and it's like, if a movie is good, if a movie has some redeeming qualities, I'll give it a fair shake, and I'll tell you guys straight up. Um, uh, I had this problem with the first movie as well. It's the aesthetics. Okay, so we're in the future, but people are dressed like they're from Earth with suits and ties. The bad guys are supposed to be like Nazis. It's kind of like, well, it's a little too on the nose, Zach. And Ed Skrein, or Ed Skrein there, terrible. Like, this is the worst performance I've ever seen from him, ever. And if I would be embarrassed to put this movie on my resume if I were him. This character here by Anthony Hopkins, you thought that was going to be like a really cool character. No, it's just kind of like there in the background. I called him Chappie in our first watch along. Uh, it's, uh, it's a terrible movie, and I'm not alone in this, guys. We go over to the tomato meter for this: 15% by critics, 52 by the audience. So that's probably only up because of the hardcore Snyder fans. But if this is not a movie that you would look at it and say, "Well, I really want to sign up for Netflix to watch this movie." Uh, the color palette is all drab. It's all washed out. See, there's parts where Zach shoots people in the dark, and that's all you see is their dark silhouettes and the darkness around them. You will see a little, like, you can't see, and it's just people trying to defend his tone and stuff. It just doesn't work, uh, and it's not a universe that I'm really excited all about, because, as I said, there's like things that make sense and then things that don't. Are you telling me? You're telling me straight up that people who have mastered the ability to fly from solar system to solar system have not solved the problem of food. Uh, and then that's like the big political arm that's swinging around in everybody's faces, that's driving forces, is grain. It's all about the grain. It's like, ah, uh, and I know there's supposed to be kind of like some sort of spiritual element to it all, but it just doesn't work. And I'm not going to rag on it too much more, other than echoing what other people have said. Rebel Moon 2 opens similarly to the original, but trails behind films like Damsel, which is a better film with Millie Bobby Brown about her fighting a dragon. I'll watch that movie over and over and over again before I watch Rebel Moon 2. Leave the World Behind, the Doomsday Scenario movie with, yeah, that one Julia Roberts. So it's kind of like I prefer that one. Oh, definitely. This was a huge swing and a miss. He was talking about making 6 movies, and no, that's not going to happen. And I do not see how a 6-hour version of this can fix any of this. No interest, no interest, because the characters are not interesting at all. And as I said, they were trying. Uh, there's no chemistry there. There's like, it's supposed to be like a love story in here. It doesn't work. But Sophia Boutella worked. Like, she can act. She's not a leading lady though, and it sucks. It pains me to say it. So, just to wrap this up, guys. I'm not as low as a 15%, but I'm below 5 actually. I'm not going to pull up the score sheet or anything like that. We're not going to waste time with that. I'll give Rebel Moon Part 2 a 4 out of 10. 4 out of 10. Uh, Maybe even 3.5. It's like, as I said, the aesthetics of it don't work. Zack Snyder doesn't work. Uh, you're like, you see these people sitting around a table talking and telling stories, and their eyes are watering, and they're watering because I guess you're supposed to care about them, but you don't care about them. So it's kind of like, it's you want a good example of world building. Dune Part 2 is like is like the standard of how to create different worlds. And Denis Villeneuve is a master class filmmaker, way above Zack Snyder. And I'm sorry that that offends people out there, the Snyder fans, but yeah, there's the argument that okay, they're wearing suits and ties because, well, he wants to make sure that people recognize that uh, there's the human element to it that relates to us, and it's kind of like he was wanting them to be like the Harkonnens in Dune, but no, not like that, not dressed like that. It's just so cringeworthy. I'm done with it. That's it. That's all I ever want to speak about Rebel Moon Part 2. I will publish a shorter version of this video later on today because I put it in the can. So there'll be like the shorts version of this, and then there'll be this view, normal review. So that's it, guys. I did see it. I'm going to be able to add it to the list. I didn't want to, but I'm going to be able to add it to the list of movies I've seen this year. And yes, you should probably already guess what's going to be the worst film of the month, and probably in contention for one of the worst movies of the year. So, if you like this kind of stuff, hey, we talk movies here all the time. We watch trailer reactions for things like Deadpool and Wolverine, Jennifer Lopez's Netflix Atlas movie, The Watchers. We did full series reactions for Fallout, Reacher, season 1 and 2. Both great series. Movie reviews for Abigail, Civil War, and full movie reactions for things like Roadhouse. And then, of course, you know that we do movie news throughout the week, where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines just right there. So if you like this, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and I'll see you next time right here on Mirror Domains. Okay, let's take some live comments. Yeah, we're doing this live, so it gives us some flexibility in doing these things. Pull up the YouTube chat there, James. Oop, not that one. Not the Twitch chat. There we go. Our last one, he says, yeah, the wheat ends up getting blown to smithereens in Rebel Moon Part 2. Yeah. They made such a big, because he spent like 45 minutes building it up and saying that this is the most important thing that's going to protect us. Right? It's like, uh, uh, yeah. The attempt at steampunk versus Viking Age didn't work well in Rebel Moon. Yeah. No, was that what they were trying to? Was that what Zack Snyder was trying to do? The steampunk kind of thing. Um, uh, and I was hoping that it would land. I was really hoping that it would, but it didn't. So there we go. Rebel Moon Part 2. Whoops, wrong button, James. Let's move on. Let's wash that gross taste out of our mouth. And you know the. Uh, hmm, I forgot to put in a headline here today. I forgot to put in a couple of headlines. We're going to talk about the TikTok stuff, guys.